Good evening, and thank you for joining us. A coffee investment scam revealed earlier in a TVB investigative report has unraveled into a suspected $100 million fraud case. Police have received more than 230 relevant reports from victims. In joint operations with Macau authorities, a total of 8 people have been rounded up. What appeared to be an investment in Vietnam's coffee industry is now allegedly an elaborate scam. The syndicate claimed to be developing high-tech coffee machines and coffee gene optimization technologies, luring investors with promises of guaranteed returns through a mobile app. Victims were persuaded to invest using cryptocurrency with entry-level plans costing around $84,000 that claims to generate returns of more than $5,000 in just 10 days. Premium packages promise profits of up to $1 million on a $200,000 investment over 18 months, more than quadrupling the principal. The platform also offers daily sign-in rewards with seminars and social gatherings to encourage participants to recruit friends and relatives. Police say many investors did not fully understand the companies behind these investments, and after seeing others make small returns, they lowered their guard and committed even more money. The app suddenly went offline on July 20th, leaving investors unable to access their funds. Hong Kong and Macau authorities have received at least 234 reports involving losses of $97.5 million. Victims are aged between 32 and 83, including multiple retirees. A 51-year-old woman suffered the biggest reported loss of $9.6 million. In a 3-day operation, 8 were arrested in Hong Kong and Macau, with multiple raids carried out in their flats and locations, including Kowloon Bay and Tsim Sha Tsui. Police seized $147,000 cash and have frozen suspected criminal proceeds worth around $610,000. At least 30,000 civil servants will reportedly take part in 4 rounds of large-scale drills at the redeveloped Huanggang port, starting the middle of this month. One of the drills will include counter-terrorism and major incident simulation. Sources say participation will increase with each drill, culminating in the largest exercise in the afternoon of August 29th, which will involve between 15,000 and 20,000 civil servants. A government circular reminds civil servants to bring a valid home return permit. The drills will take place during working hours with no additional allowances, although transport expenses can be reimbursed. The Security Bureau says the new boundary control point will only begin operations after all preparations and testing are completed. Hong Kong's total retail sales value in June increased by 4.6% as compared with June 2025. Among all categories, the jewelry, watches, and clocks and valuable gifts recorded the largest increase, with sales surging over 20%. Celine Chan has more.
The provisional estimate for Hong Kong's total retail sales in June was $31.5 billion, a 4.6% increase compared to that of last year. That's the 14th straight month of gains for the city's retail sector. Compared with June in 2025, jewelry, watches, and clocks and valuable gifts saw the biggest increase of 20.1%, followed by the sales of other consumer goods not elsewhere classified at 9.3%. However, the total sales of foods decreased by 15.3%, and the sales of commodities in department stores also dropped by 4.2%. A local goat shop executive said goat prices have dropped by about 20% from their peak earlier this year, attracting consumers to buy on the dip, which has boosted jewelry sales. He also noted that the year-end is traditionally a peak season for weddings, which he believes will boost sales of gold jewelry and related products. A government spokesman said the continued economic expansion, rising local incomes, and a steady increase in inbound visitors are expected to provide further support to the sector. Celine Chan, TVB News.
The government has signaled it will raise its full-year economic growth forecast after stronger than expected performance in the first half of the year. Some economists believe the city's GDP could expand by as much as 4% for 2026. The government earlier estimates the entire year's GDP growth will stand between 2.5% and 3.5%, but it earlier reveals the growth rate will be revised upwards. Gary Ng, a senior economist for Asia Pacific at Nexus's Corporate and Investment Banking, says that could be buoyed by strong global demand for AI-related products and increased government investment in infrastructure projects, including the northern metropolis. But the economist believes the growth rate in the second half of the year will be slower than the first half, as global shipping disruptions and geopolitics could keep inflation elevated, making it difficult for interest rates to fall in the near term. And that could weigh on consumer spending and the recovery of the property market. "25 Democratic-led U.S. states have filed a joint lawsuit against Trump administration in New York, asking to halt the new tariffs imposed last month. The White House says the tariffs targeting 60 economies, including Chinese mainland and Hong Kong, levying 10 to 12.5% on imports over alleged failures to prohibit forced labor production, are lawful and appropriate. The states argue the administration rushed a tariff measures nearly identical to the one rejected by the Supreme Court in February. They are asking the court to declare the new tariffs unlawful, bar their enforcement, and order refunds of duties paid. They contend the administration bypassed required country-specific consultations and failed to explain how the tariffs would actually remedy the alleged forced labor practices. Police arrested a woman after 2 children who are her relatives were hospitalized from ingesting cannabis gummies she bought from the U.S. Hiba Khan has the details.
The incident occurred when a pair, a brother and sister, were visiting relatives with their mother. At their grand-aunt's flat in Wong Tak House, Wong Tak Home Estate, they consumed the gummies. A pediatrician warns that cannabis gummies may contain high levels of THC, the main chemical in cannabis that heavily alters memory, mood, and movement. Consumption by young children can damage the central nervous system. Dr. Patrick Yip, clinical professor from the HKU Department of Pediatrics and Adolescent Medicine, said that if the dose entering the body is high, it stays in the body for a longer period, usually several hours or even a day or two. It can affect long-term intelligence, potentially leading to intellectual developmental issues and severe learning difficulties. Acute poisoning can lead to severe coma and even life-threatening situations. Police arrested the 61-year-old grandaunt on Monday for possession of a dangerous drug. It is understood that she bought the gummies during a trip to the U.S. earlier this year and claimed that she had no idea they contained cannabis. Since February 1st, 2023, products containing cannabidiols, or CBD, have been banned from entry into Hong Kong. However, travel agents note that in countries where cannabis is legalized, such as Canada, parts of the US, and Europe, cannabis gummies are not always sold separately and may not even have warning labels, as it is legal. This makes it easier for travelers to accidentally purchase them. Moreover, most people know the term marijuana, but there are other terms used, such as hemp, which many may be unfamiliar with. 3 years ago, 2 sisters aged 2 and 4 also accidentally ate cannabis gummies belonging to their father. The father was later sentenced to 8 months in prison for child abuse and drug possession. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
The Hong Kong International Airport hosts the Arts and Culture Festival between August 4th and November 8th. Art, photography, interactive experiences, and music performances are peppered throughout the airport. Andy Xiaodin reports.
The Hong Kong International Airport celebrates the opening ceremony of their Arts and Culture Festival. The theme focuses on the heritage of Shanghai and Hong Kong through photography, artworks, installations, and interactive experiences. There will be music performances over the next 4 weekends. The center stage takes inspirations from the architecture of Hong Kong Tonglao and Shanghai Shikumen. Part of the exhibition takes place simultaneously at the Hongqiao Airport in Shanghai, which is co-managed by HKIA. This year's art installations span across both terminals. Airport Authority Hong Kong CEO Vivian Cheng says since the opening of Terminal 2 in May, travelers can easily traverse between that and Terminal 1. She hopes the passengers can enjoy this cultural experience whether they be departing or arriving at the airport, or when they're picking up family and friends.
The exhibition includes a space mimicking a traditional Chinese home from the 60s. Passerby can take pictures and leave with a deepened understanding of the culture. The Hong Kong International Airport Arts and Culture Festival will be open to the public until November 8th. Andy Zeldin, TVB News.
The Hong Kong Dental Association has been sounding the alarm over a growing wave of dental care advertising, arguing that some flashy promotions could blur the line between informed choice and misleading marketing. Speaking with TVB News, the group's president explains why the profession says tighter regulation is about protecting patients instead of about restricting competition.
Public interest is our main concern, and protecting the vulnerable patient from the persuasive sales pressure, preventing the over-commercialization of healthcare, and maintaining the public trust and professional integrity, our core value never change.
This is Justin, a 7-year-old boy who contracted influenza A has died, marking the city's first pediatric flu fatality of the year. The case was first reported to the Center for Health Protection on August 3rd as a severe influenza A infection. The boy passed away on Tuesday. The CHP warned that Hong Kong remains in the midst of the flu season, with flu activity expected to stay at a high level over the coming weeks. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.